What's going on, fellow blockchain and Ethereum enthusiasts? Today, January 19th, 2021, represents the first time that Ethereum has reached new all-time highs since early 2018. So to commemorate today, I thought that it would be nice to go over to the Ethfinance subreddit to review some of the daily updates and daily posts that were commented over there. So let's go check it out together. Okay, so I'm over at the Ethfinance subreddit, and in case any of you guys are unaware, Ethfinance subreddit is a community for investors, traders, users, developers, and others to discuss Ethereum and cryptocurrency. I am currently on the daily general discussion, and the daily general discussions always has a lot of comments. As you can see today, it has had 3,500 comments. And one section that I like about it here is that they have a daily Updoot archive over here. So we can just go over there and see what some of the other community members have posted. The quaffle. When I buy a small amount, like 0.1 ETH, I like to imagine that I'm planting a little tree. Sounds interesting. So let's check out what the quaffle has to say. I have a lot to thank this sub for today. Holding through a bear market is hard, but I could have done that myself. No, what I have to thank you for is your encouragement. During our last bull market, I was working a dead-end job I didn't like. I wanted to believe I could retire from ETH gains and I didn't have to worry about a career. The people here convinced me to invest not just in Ether, but in myself. I started to learn Solidity, even releasing a couple of tokens just for fun. After learning Solidity, I realized I needed to learn HTML and JavaScript in order to make a front end for my smart contracts. JavaScript was a whirlpool that sucked me down. One thing led to another, and today I'm working as a software engineer at the start of a bright career. I don't own enough ETH to quit, but it doesn't matter because I don't want to. Thank you for being part of my journey there, Ethfinance. Wow, that's very impressive. So this individual has gone ahead and decided to improve himself so that he'd be able to interact with Ethereum on a more deeper level, and that has led to his career as a software engineer, and that's really quite impressive and amazing. So yeah, good for him. I'm retiring this account. Good practice. Practice good operating security, people. I'll still check in from time to time and maybe post with an alt if we hit a big milestone. If I can encourage anyone else in these times of gains, find your happiness in yourself. Invest in doing what you love. If you don't love anything, then invest in your personal growth until you find what you love. Good advice. 3 years from now, that's what will matter. If you have an Ether worth $10,000, that's a nice little bonus. As a parting note, I've looked back at my first comment ever with this account. It was this: when I buy a small amount like 0.1 ETH, I like to imagine that I'm planting a little tree. Sure, they're only worth 17 bucks now, but one day they'll be full-grown ETH trees. Very well put. I really like that quote. I'm happy to say that I have a small grove of grown-up trees, and boy, does it feel nice. Don't lose sight, friends. Awesome. That was really awesome. And let's see what the other comments has to say. I hope that they're half as awesome as that. If they are, then we're going to be having a good time reading these comments. So, Squarove wrote it on this day for several years going back. XYZ occurred. So, let's take a review of it. On this day in 2020, Fuel Labs announced that open beta of Fuel V0, an Ethereum scaling solution using optimistic rollups. A sign warns about falling ETHs from $175 to $167 at Bitcoin 0.01921 ratio. In 2019, ETH traces an inverse bed and boulders pattern at $125 or 0.03341 Bitcoin ratio. And what they mean by this is beds and boulders pattern. What they're referring to, that's just the price of what ETH was on that day in that year. In 2018, the government of Canada experiments with Ethereum while exploring how to make the government more transparent using blockchain technology. Nick Johnson adds support for smart card hardware wallets in Go Ethereum. Traders are in over their ETH at $1,039 or Bitcoin ratio of 0.09044. So as you can see, During the bear market, we fell a long way. It was a sharp fall, and it took some time, several years, for us to return to levels that we are today. In 2017, members of Ethereum Research and Development and Zcash company give an update on their collaboration on how to integrate Zcash on Ethereum. Parity version 1.5 is out with multi-sig wallets, contract deployment, auto-updating, POA dev chains, badges, and more. Consensus Andrew Keys describes how personal responsibility and Ethereum are the solution to a growing worldwide trust problem. ETH hovers above $10.40 and 0.01156 Bitcoin ratio. Wow. $10 ETH. That would have been amazing to have purchased some ETH at that price. One can only dream, right? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of folks who actually did purchase at those prices, but I definitely was not one of them. In 2016, a bounty DAO is set up to help fund the development of Dog Ethereum, a sidechain for Dogecoin Ethereum. ETH camps at $1.40 or Bitcoin ratio of 0.0036. Even better, $1.40 to get into Ethereum. That would have been awesome. Okay, let's review the next comments. Okay, this is talking about weekly ETH 2.0 deposit contract as of January 19th, 2021. Current ETH deposited 2,703,106. ETH deposited over the last 8 days, 297,632. Current active validator count 65,328. Current APR 9.5% returns. Not too shabby, not too bad. Validators waiting to be activated 16,455, 805 in the last 8 days. Current validator wait time is 18.28 days. Total unique validators 5,778, which is 169 plus in the last 8 days. Number of validators slashed minus 37, 1 in the last 8 days. Total USD value deposited $3,830,274,170.94. Current value of shitcoins offered to the deposit contracts gods $720,193.52. Forgot to post this yesterday, so data is actually over 8 days. Regardless, an impressive week with almost 300,000 ETH added, which means we actually added to the validator queue and put in nearly 3 times the issuance. And with that price, we are within a few million of BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, which is ranked number 14, which we all know is the true Bitcoin. It's in the name. Okay. Daily haiku. Let's see how this is, or what this is about. JS Tears wrote, "Profit on Bitcoin, offload the gains on Ether. Hello, all-time high. Daily haiku until we're at least 0.178 on the ETH Bitcoin ratio or highest market cap." Okay, awesome. Decibels 42, awesome as usual. Let's see what this is about. To the gentle people of Ethfinance. Whether you are new here or old, congrats to all of you. It's been a long road back to all-time highs, and this time we effing deserve it, as fundamentals and the DeFi ecosystem has never been stronger. The past few years has been absolutely incredible in terms of development, and now that so much of the infrastructure and lower layer DeFi protocols are built and continue to be built, we are going to see exponential growth in apps built on top of those protocols, especially on level 2s. Not to mention increased interest for new developers, companies, and enterprises coming into this space, furthering the exponential growth in useful protocols and in value accrued in the ecosystem. As we progress in this bull market, never feel bad about taking profits. Do it when it's right for you, but remember the lessons you learned during the bear market. Dollar cost averaging, price usually goes lower than you think in a bear, etc. Just reverse them now for a bull market. Don't be too aggressive and don't panic on the increased volatility that we're going to see. Stick to your general plan. Things are only going to get more exciting and crazy from here. Community is also important to touch on. The Ethereum community is incredibly open, kind, and helpful. Many of us are here because we stood on the shoulders of the people before us who took the time to explain concepts and share useful tips. Let's stick to these principles and try to impart them to newcomers that come into this space. Be patient and teach them when they need help, because learning about how this stuff works in the beginning is way more important than talking about price. Also consider how you can contribute to the ecosystem, whether it's in the form of donating, education, dev work, share links, information, resources, etc, etc, etc. All contributions add up, even if they are small. Last, take care of yourself and your friends and loved ones, including keeping your mental and physical health in shape. Read books, keep learning, stay fit, etc, etc. Reward yourself from time to time and make sure you find time to enjoy with people you care about. Cheers, fam. We effing did it. Very well put. Very well put. So I think that one thing that the bear market proved for folks who held from 2017 to present day is that the holders, you have iron grips. You guys have probably among the highest risk tolerance in the world. It's been proven that your fortitude is tremendous. So if you can stomach 90% price declines, you can stomach pretty much any investment. Congratulations to you guys. You guys did it. We did it together. And that's also something that I really like about the Ethereum community, is that the community has been really kind and helpful and overall very supportive of one another. Let's go on and continue with the next posts. Market expectations. Let's see what Ruvalm has to say about that. Okay, the most likely scenario is that we end up seeing the 0.07s again on the ratio, Bitcoin ratio, and somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000. It might get a little more crazy than this, but these will be revisited often if that's the case. It's definitely not gonna be straight up. In fact, there might be a scary day here and there, but I guess that's on the table for now. After that, if the previous bull markets is to go by as an example, we're likely gonna see a long consolidation, 2 to 3 months long, and set some higher floor. Don't get rid of your ETH every time you see a bit of red. There are plenty of derivatives exchanges, centralized and decentralized, out there for you to hedge your value when it happens. Of course, this is a scenario out of many. I think that given that all-time high was touched and broken, confidence will rise on future higher valuations. Notice though that this market is much more mature, significantly more efficient than markets were in 2017 and 2018, which might mean will take longer to get to what will end up being the next temporary top. Well put. So I think that $2,500 to $3,000 is a price range that I think is definitely doable, and I think it is, in my personal opinion, almost certain to occur over the next couple of months, early 2021. From there, I can see us pretty certainly doubling to another price point, and maybe even if the bubble continues to expand, we can hit feasibly $10,000 price per ETH. But that's my thoughts, and not professional financial advice, just my personal thoughts and opinions. Do your own research. We'll see what happens. Let's see what the future holds for ETH prices. Let's see, next I went through a mental phase in crypto winter, and this is from Logris the Bar. Let's see what he has to say. I went through a mental phase in crypto winter where I was bitter at the stupidity of the world for how wrong it was about blockchains and Ethereum in particular. The market feels like peer pressure, and we are wired to respond to social signals and try to conform to some extent. Most of the people, most of the time, just follow the herd. That's why it's the herd. When ETH was falling below 100 last year, it was gut-wrenching. It felt like derision. When I was pushing buy, it was in anger and spite at the opinion of the market. I had the hard data to support my beliefs. I had witnessed firsthand the birth of Compound, Uniswap, SAI, and DAI, DYDX, Fulcrum, etc. All of it was on Ethereum and nowhere else. All the liquidity was on Ethereum. The developers' conferences for Ethereum were packed. When all the data is going one way and the people are going the other way, it makes you feel a little bit crazy. What really carried me through these moments and to buy more when people are calling for $10 ETH is a certain emotional core paradigm that comes from the purpose of this technology. There's a paradigm shift regarding Ethereum that can elucidate clearly. There's a dozen examples in Camila Russell's book. It's like when you're working on a problem and something that feels like a twist in your brain snaps out of flow, and then you get this 5-mile stare and a vision of something pure. Something that is pure potential, unburdened at the moment by political considerations or compromise. You see then the potential of something beautiful and elegant. Happens about a dozen times a year for me in programming. The herd will never have this moment. For the rest of you gentlemen that have seen what I've seen, it's been an honor being in your company these last few years. I hope you'll stay around and set a cultural example when the herd begins to arrive. I look forward to meeting many of you in Hawaii. I can definitely get why he feels that way. But for me, I felt like that time it was great for me to just continue to accumulate my ETH, and it gave me more time to accumulate that ETH, and I accumulated more ETH than I ever expected back in 2017 that I would be able to purchase and accumulate. So for me, that was a blessing because I could see what the potential of ETH was. I could see it was being used. There was practical tests and uses and development on it. My company that I was working for was deploying financial insurance products, test products on Ethereum, and they were live products. They weren't just tests. They were deploying live beta product and testing it out on the Ethereum blockchain. And I do recall during that time there were a lot of Ethereum, so-called Ethereum killers, and there were a lot of folks that were coming out of the woodworks, including a lot of YouTubers, a lot of Redditors, a lot of folks on Twitter that were talking ill of Ethereum, diminishing it, lambasting it, stating that Ethereum just is going to be left behind, that Ethereum is useless, and all things negative about Ethereum in order to convince folks to sell Ethereum and pursue other projects. But you know, when people are saying that, you have to kind of keep in mind that a lot of folks may have ulterior motives. Perhaps those folks are shorting ETH, so they're trying to drive the price down, or they are trying to pump their other projects, their other blockchains that they're invested in. Something to keep in mind. I mean, the facts were there. You know, Ethereum had the greatest adoption, it had the greatest development, and it was like a long shot. It was not even close to anything else. Nothing else was close to Ethereum. During that time, I was confident in my investment in ETH. I do understand Logris, the Bard's frustration. I definitely get it. But yeah, for me, it was a blessing. That's all I got to say about that. And I think that the future is going to be very bright for Ethereum going forward into the next few years, especially once ETH 2.0 is fully deployed. Let's see what else. From the literal highest of highs to the lowest of lows. It's probably someone who held their ETH investments all the way up to the top in 2017 and all the way back down. Okay, Revan Christ 1 got into ETH before the last bull run and held through the last last all-time high. 3+ years of holding from the literal highest of highs to the lowest of lows. I got annoyed, really annoyed at the price, but I never worried or doubted. I knew it was only a matter of time. So just for reference, ETH early 2018, ETH ran over price over of $1,400, and at the bottom it was below $100. So over on cryptocurrency, I see a lot of comments about buying in now. So I guess that's where new money comes in from after all-time high. It's amazing that people are willing to throw money at random coins that I've never heard about, but are hesitant to buy Ethereum. Just remember not to be cocky with your gains. It will always be a mixture of luck and hard work. Luck to have found out about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and hard work to take the time to learn about these projects. I can't even begin to quantify the amount of time I spent learning about Bitcoin and then Ethereum, but I did, and the value they add to the world is so obvious to me. I had some pretty hard jobs physically and mentally over the years. I worked a lot of overtime, and I was able to begin investing in both traditional finance and cryptocurrencies. I'm thankful, and I had seen that Bitcoin Wizard ad all those years ago and took the time to learn about Bitcoin. Lucky to have seen the ad and read the right comments that pushed me in the correct direction. It took a lot of time to fully grasp what a blockchain was and learn about its use cases, but I eventually did. Yeah, unfortunately for me, I heard about Bitcoin a long time ago, like way early in its development, but I kind of just scoffed at the idea. I was like, oh, internet money, is that like a video game money? Yeah, that's never going to take off. How wrong I was. And I missed a lot of potential gains. But anyway, I didn't get into ETH at the ICO due to being cautious of projects overpromising and not delivering. I didn't want to lose any Bitcoin after seeing all the scam projects that littered the space back then, but ETH was on my radar. Eventually, I did take the time to learn what this Ethereum project was all about. Thankfully, it was still in the single digits when I took the plunge. I had changed jobs again, and the overtime working conditions got even worse, but Bitcoin and Ethereum were my ticket out of the rat race. I continued to put in the hours and continued my investments, maxing out Roth IRA and continuing my sporadic but steady purchases of Bitcoin and ETH buys. I still wasn't fully convinced of ETH, but the whole Bitcoin block size debacle and the way the Bitcoin community increasingly became toxic pushed me away from it. Ethereum became the obvious choice. I stopped purchasing Bitcoin shortly after, still holding, and went fully into ETH. Still haven't sold anything and won't for a while. For anyone new to investing, develop good habits. Steady buys will be the best path forward with these major projects, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Remember to max out your Roth IRA and try to put some money in your 401ks. Soon we'll be able to exit this rat race. Upvote the daily. It's free. Good point. Okay, what's next? MK Coles posted, I really hope this year is the year of Ethereum and it breaks into mainstream consciousness. Okay, let's see what he has to say. Whoa, look at that ratio fly. Bitcoin is basically flat and ETH is making 15% plus moves. I really hope this year is the year of Ethereum and it breaks into mainstream consciousness. Hell, last year was the year of Ethereum too and nobody really gave a shit. Then the hedge funds and other big institutional players started their FOMO and look where we are. Banks are capitulating to crypto and are getting on board. They can sense the way the wind is blowing. I don't mind saying that my fiat cash reserves are a small fraction of my ETH. I convert most of my disposable income to ETH, enough for a rainy day, and that's it. A bank is a necessary evil to me at this point, as it's the only way I can receive my salary and pay my mortgage. If my employer allowed me to be paid in ETH and Bitcoin, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I think some major currency collapse is in the offing in the next year or two anyway. The money printing has reached insane levels. I'm looking at my staking node box. Its little hard drive activity light blinking along. I can almost taste the fire. And for those who are unaware, FIRE stands for Financial Independence and Retire Early. Okay, awesome. DC Investor. So you ain't see nothing yet. And DC Investors posts are always a pleasure to read. He says, congrats, my friends. ETH just broke through its all-time high, and while I expect it could bounce around for a bit today, a new era is upon us. It has been a long road, but one whose destination many of us saw. But I think of this as more of a waypoint than a destination. I know the past few years haven't been easy, but if you've continually dollar cost averaged into ETH over the time from your income, you're probably significantly wealthier. You've survived several brutal capitulations, never-ending trolling, and perhaps most brutally, your own self-doubt. But now you own a piece of what may be the most impactful technology to emerge during your lifetimes, next to the internet itself. We are less than 2% into Ethereum's journey to change the world, and you ain't seen nothing yet. Onward and upward. Alright. Awesome. Guys, lives. Let's see, from Break Easier. Let's see what he has to say. Guys, my wife took a positive pregnancy test 2 hours ago. Awesome. Congratulations. Exchanging contracts on a new house this afternoon. Terrific. Expecting architect to submit drawings for a new house today. My employer confirmed 2020 results this morning, which confirms I'm getting a minimum 30% bonus in April. My daughter did a shit in the toilet. ETH is doing a thing. Life. Awesome. Congratulations. Things are going really good for this guy. Epic Goblet. About a year ago, I finally came out to my fiance. Ooh. Scandalous. Let's see what he has to say. About a year ago, when the price was around $200, I finally came out to my fiance that I have kind of a lot of something called ETH. She just said, "Oh, like an investment, that's okay. Do whatever you think is best with your money. I love you." Aww. We got married Friday. Today, the price is on the cusp of a break for all-time high. We leave for our honeymoon in a couple hours, and I have a personal goal to take a break from the charts until we get back in 10 days. I can honestly say in the past 4 years, I'm not sure if I've ever gone 10 days without looking at the price or reading this sub. I can definitely relate to that. I'm sure you guys will keep an eye on it for me though. Until then, cheers. Awesome. Okay, so that's it for the daily updates. Let's see if there was anything else that was not included. So let's see. Best. I didn't hodl through a 90% drop to hear you noobs whine about dropping to 1380. Great stuff. Waits 3 years for a 10-minute bull run, and I do it again. Yep, I definitely agree with that. Just a bit of advice: enjoy this moment, but remain gracious and humble, and be the example for the world. Not how it was or is, but how we wish it could be. Awesome, from Eat Long Musk. Very well put. And I think that's pretty much it for now. Oh wait, let's read this one. I started accumulating ETH in June 2017, but 3 years ago I also bought in $1,400. I held onto those bags this entire effing crash, and now I can finally sell for a modest 2% gain. But guess what, folks? I'm not effing selling. I'm never effing selling. Okay, awesome. Okay, well, I think that's it for now. So you guys let me know down in the comments below. How long have you held ETH? Did you hold it through the entire bear market from 2017 through present day? Did you panic sell any of it along the way? Drop your comments down below and let me know. Alright guys, so until next time, you guys stay safe with your investments. Good luck and have a good one, guys. Peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.